Hey, what's up, everyone? Steve here with your NASCAR, your weekly 2013 NASCAR previews. This week, Kansas. And you'll notice usually I'm racing other people in this, and I pick who I want to win, and then I race the lap, the race itself, and come away with a victory. This week, I was just trying to match Carl Edwards' practice from Friday night. Fantastic job by Carl Edwards. Really fast stuff. I think he got 28-second laps. I don't think this game accounts for the repave of the new surface at Kansas. So maybe that's why I couldn't get quite as fast. I was topping out at about 33-second laps, but a really great job. We'll talk about Carl Edwards in a second because I do believe he's going to be your winner this week. Let's talk about Texas Motor Speedway last week. Kyle Busch, boy. I knew that momentum was going to carry on. I just didn't think he'd get the win that week. But, man, he stepped up big and got another big win. And watch out, Kyle Busch is too talented of a driver. When you start putting the wins in his column, then he's going to be real tough getting into the chase. And at this point, 2 wins, doesn't look like it's going to be the end. He'll at least get the wild card, and Kyle Busch will be in the chase this year for certain. Let's talk about another chase contender, Jeff Gordon. Another rough week for Gordon. And this is what happens. It's going to get late early for a lot of these guys. You're going to notice it. Tony Stewart, when you have a good car and you have a good week and you should have a top 5 finish and you don't get the points for that because something happens, those are the things that come back to bite you. Because now this week, he wasn't showing a lot of speed this week, even though he's traditionally very good at Kansas. This week, he may not have the car. Next week is track position. When you're in a position where you can do well and pick up the points, you really need to do that. Jimmie Johnson has won all those championships by getting the points that he's supposed to get. When he has a good week, he's able to capitalize on them and get the maximum amount of points. When he doesn't have a good week, he's able to protect the amount of points that he's able to get. Jeff Gordon's had trouble with that lately. I was watching with people. He was running well. It looked like he was going to get the lead. Then I was saying watch him blow a tire, right front tire or something like that. Didn't quite blow a right front tire, but he blew the hub on the wheel. I mean, it's just stuff that, little things that happen when you don't capitalize on points that come back to get you. Tony Stewart, another quiet run. When he won the championship a couple years ago, he got hot during the summer, and then they stayed hot. That needs to happen again. He needs to get really hot during the summer. Happened again last year, too, for him to make the chase, actually, come to think of it. He got really hot. He has these streaks, and he's going to need one pretty soon to get him some points enough to get into the chase. Let's talk about Carl Edwards for this week, because I think he's really going to have a chance. He loves racing in Kansas. The hangover's over with, not winning the championship from 2 years ago. You see it in sports. And you saw it with Denny Hamlin a few years back. You got real close to winning the championship. You didn't quite get there. Then the next season, you're lost, sometimes for even 2 seasons. Bravo for Carl Edwards to shake it off mentally and get back into the game after only 1 season. He got the win earlier in the season. I think he's going to rack up another one this week. Great car in practice. Fantastic practice laps. Qualified on the front row. You got a talented driver in Carl Edwards. That team is hungry. They're racing. They're showing good speed this week. I think you're going to see Carl Edwards in the 1 position by the time it's all said and done, and also a strong position for the chase for him. Some other drivers, Dale Earnhardt, probably going to have another good week. He's got to get back to that consistency. They had that 24 finish at Martinsville. Then they had a slower week last week. They had trouble as well. You got to have it where you get back to that higher level of consistency. They got to get a couple of wins here going into the chase. They have to have that kind of confidence that they can go out and win races. You're not going to win the chases. He saw last year. Biffle saw this last year as well. You can be as consistent as you want to be during the year and get a lot of points, but if you're not winning races and getting max points come chase time, you're not going to be the champion at the end of the year. And that's what they found out. And so hopefully Dale Earnhardt, the 88 team, will be able to get some wins and get some confidence going. Let's talk about the track itself and what you're going to be able to see, because I was watching the Truck Series today, and Michael Waltrip had a great point about the repave and what they've done with the progressive banking. You're going to see, and you saw it in the truck race today, you're going to see 3 wide, which is something you're not accustomed to at Kansas from before earlier years. You're going to see 3 wide racing because of the progressive banking. The thing that you may not see is grip. Teams are going to be messing with the track bar. They're going to put that spring rubber in there to try to get that back end against the ground so they can get some traction, depending on the weather tomorrow. You didn't see a lot of grip today, especially in Turn 4. Boy, a lot of problems with people sliding up in Turn 4. That's something you got to watch for tomorrow. See how the teams adjust to it. See if they're able to warm up those tires. Maybe it's an air pressure adjustment. Maybe it's a track bar adjustment. I think you're going to see some teams go to the spring rubber if they can't get that grip early on. A lot of different combinations and a lot of exciting racing tomorrow. And, it really, there were so many cautions. If you watch the truck race today, I think there were 4 cautions before we got to lap 35, and it took a long time just to get through the race because there were so many people in turn 4. If you went in there, if you were on the high side, forget about it. You got to watch below you and give them a lot of room. And we'll see tomorrow with these new cars who are sensitive to the air if anyone's sliding up in there. So I expect Carl Edwards this week. He's going to have a strong week. I expect him to win. And then we'll see you next week. Enjoy the racing. I know it's going to be a lot of fun with the new repave. You're seeing a lot of that with these new tracks. In the past couple of years, there's been a lot of tracks. They've had repaves, and they've shown a lot of speed, but they've also seen different teams struggling with grip. That's going to be the story tomorrow. That's the thing that you're going to hear, and you're going to see Carl Edwards. You know, I've been pretty okay with these predictions recently. I knew Kyle Busch was going to continue his momentum. I had him in, what was it, I had him for Fontana. We'll see if I continue. I was so close with Jeff Gordon at Martinsville. I was just a few off, but we'll see if we're able to get forward with that. Until next week, enjoy the racing this week. Should be a lot of fun.